Start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance as usual. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome everybody this evening. I'll now turn things over to the superintendent for the celebration of excellence.
Can you just call the meeting to order for me?
Oh, did I not say that?
No, sorry.
Call the meeting to order.
At 6:30 p.m. Thank you.
I don't know. I'm sorry. I've been sick for weeks and I sound awful still. So
No worries. No worries. Yep, I gotcha. It is my pleasure this evening to introduce Dan Ayer, who is our academic leader for K-12 music and band. Mr. Ayer.
Good evening, Superintendent Hecht and members of the Board of Education. I wanted to take a moment to also introduce two of my colleagues who are here this evening, Mary Dombrovskis, who teaches at Bolton Center School doing K through 3 general music, as well as 4th and 5th grade chorus and 7th and 8th grade music survey. And also Jason Beat, who teaches 4th through 8th grade instrumental music at Bolton Center School. And we have about a 5-minute video presentation for you this evening for the celebration of excellence. And then I'll be back later this evening to share some other information with you later on the agenda. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure the most exciting part for me is that I got a solo.
My son is Andrew, and he is a sophomore here, and he plays the baritone saxophone in the band.
You have to practice and want the solo, and then you can audition.
We actually moved here a year ago from California, and he was very active in the band there, but it's been great to transition here. He has found his people in the band, he does the jazz band, and it's just been a great experience here.
Yeah, it's so great coming back, especially to see what Mr. Ayer continues to do here.
My son, Christopher Allenson, he is playing the bari sax and the alto sax, and he's a freshman.
A lot of these girls we've sung with, like a lot, and we've been on sports teams with them. It's the first concert we've been to here that we haven't been a part of.
They are so supportive of the kids, and they try to make them, they're always available for them, and they try to make them, just excel in what they're doing.
I just like singing.
We did a Hebrew song and dance, which was really cool. And then I taught 7th grade. We started musicals today, which is a unit that they don't think they're going to like, but then they actually end up liking.
I have great colleagues to work with, and that makes my job a lot easier. I think one of the things we do is we try to be really inclusive in our ensemble classes. So in our band and choir, we take students from all ability levels, and it doesn't matter whether you've never picked up an instrument before or if you've had private lessons. We bring everybody together. We work as a team. We've got some other music classes that we offer for students who aren't as interested in doing a performance-based class like band or choir. So we've got our music technology classes that Mr. Langworthy teaches here at the high school. We've got a guitar class here at the high school. At the center school, we've got a middle school music survey class. And so we've got those options so we can really serve all the students, even if they're not interested in the performances.
Jason and I took the 4th graders to go see the Coast Guard Band earlier this year, and that was awesome for them to be able to see, the instruments that they're just starting to learn and see professionals perform them. So to get the support from the administration to be able to do programs that we want to do or extra things that will interest our students and reach out to them in different ways.
We're trying to help students become lifelong, lovers of music, right? So it's not all just about performing in the ensemble or performing on your instrument, but just knowing how to enjoy music, going and seeing that live performance, how to be partaking, like how to be that audience member, and truly enjoy it.
One of the things that makes my perspective a little bit different is I've worked in several schools throughout the pandemic. And there's lots of effort to rebuild, but not with the same excitement as I've seen in this department. And just getting kids excited about being back and going on trips again, running fundraisers, and just trying to interact between the center school and here at the high school as well. Trying to make plans to get kids excited about being in music again and do all the lovely things that we're trying to do.
So I know that I can always count on Joe to be there to support us when we have any sort of technical needs for our concerts, sound, lights, audio and visual recording. He's there. He has put so much work in to get our system in place that we have now. We're really grateful to Daryl for his support at the center school, especially at always being at our concerts and being there to greet everyone and just to welcome all the students and make them just feel like it's a really special opportunity for them. I think we're on a great trajectory right now with our department as far as rebuilding, getting numbers back, getting more interest in our programs. The kids are really excited about. They come down to our classrooms when they have a free period just to practice because they're really excited about putting together their music for that. So I think just the more we can generate that excitement and just keep the kids interested and kind of meet them where they are now, but give them a good path to move forward, that's really where I want to see the department go.
I am shocked at the level of this music program. Back in California, as band boosters, we needed to raise about $10,000 to $15,000 a year just to have sheet music for the bands. And to come here where instruments are available, all the equipment's available.
My son, very important. I mean, that's really, he's already kind of decided that's going to be his life career. So, yeah. And that's how much they have encouraged that. They really encourage a love of music, and there are many careers available in that, and it's amazing. My daughter's going to be a music teacher because of this program.
So that was awesome. And we are thrilled, and you're going to hear a little bit more about this later, to be back in person performing. Dan, would you like to introduce Tyler? Because he popped on right after the video started.
Yeah, Tyler Langworthy is our latest addition to the department, teaching high school instrumental music and music technology and music theory. And he's also running a jazz band rehearsal as we speak. So we'll let him get back to that. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Back to you, Chair O'Neill, for comments from the audience.
Thank you very much. Do we have any comments from the audience this evening? Hearing none, do we have any additions to the agenda?
No, we do not.
All right, on to routine business and the approval of minutes. I'm looking for a motion, please, to accept the minutes of the December 7th, 2022 Board of Education business meeting.
So moved. This is Chris.
Thank you, Chris.
I'll second Rhea.
Thank you, Chris and Rhea. Do we have any comments or edits on these minutes? Okay, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Someone who is opposed or abstaining? All right, that passes. On to Board of Education committee reports and Kappa. Have we had a Kappa meeting since?
Yes, we did.
Could I
Yeah,
ask Scott for 1 second before you go? Mrs. Peterson, could you please mute yourself? Thank you.
So
Mrs. Peterson, if you could mute yourself, please. Thank you. Okay, Scott.
we did meet on December 13th with the full committee. It was more discussion about both the Board of Selectmen lists and the Board of Education list as we're trying to pare it down. And the Board of Selectmen list for the next fiscal year was pared down to somewhere in the neighborhood of $460,000. I think in that meeting, we took some $135,000 out by either reducing the amounts of some line items or deferring them to future years. The Board of Education list was discussed, but it was left intact, where our total for request is $254,000 or so. So we're not there yet. We're at it still at about $715,000. The charter requires at least 1 mil be budgeted, which is in a $450,000 range, plus or minus. We don't have the exact number. So there is more work to be done. We have another meeting next Wednesday, the 18th.
Thank you very much. On to finance.
Hello, we had a finance meeting yesterday and we are expended 41% versus 40% last year. And the special ed program is something that Superintendent Heck will talk about now.
Thank you. So before I do that, if I could just go over the transfers, and please keep me honest that we make sure we do a motion to take care of those, please. The first was to purchase materials for the reading pilots. So it was just a move out of instructional PD for BCS to instructional supplies. The next one was a reclass to purchase some additional books for grades K and 1 due to increased enrollment. So that's a very positive thing. A reclass to cover shortfall in athletic uniform account, a reclass to cover shortfall in health and PE fitness equipment repair and maintenance, a reclass to purchase additional social studies supplies, and a transfer to purchase additional math supplies. Any questions about the transfers? So if we could do that motion now so I don't lose sight of it, that would be great.
I'll make a motion to approve the transfers
For December,
for December.
thank you.
Second.
Are there
Thank
any
you.
questions or comments on this motion? All those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstaining? I believe that was everybody. Okay, now on to special ed.
Yeah, so if we go to the next page, please, Joe. Thank you. So you will see here that we are in deficit spending for special education for $251,387 due to unanticipated outplacements. And if you could go to the next, and that is inclusive of excess cost grant. And then on the next page, please. Joe, could we go to the next page? Sorry. You will see under salaries and benefits that we have a savings in salaries and benefits of $212,000 due to unfilled positions, new hires coming in less than the person they replaced, and changes in insurance. So as a result, we currently are projecting a negative budget balance of $39,387. It is possible and probably highly likely that this negative budget balance will continue to fluctuate over the next coming months. At this point, it is too early to determine if we need to go to the Board of Finance with a request for more monies for special education per our agreement. Any questions for me on this?
So the salaries and benefits, 212 savings is a one-time deal this year, since we're fully staffed, right?
Correct, and we
So
continue.
it's
to
not
be-
going to be adding because we still haven't hired somebody.
Correct, 100%. And we've also had people out who have used up their time. And so, you know, there's also savings in that realm as well. So that is correct.
Okay.
Okay, because we're on to student representatives report.
Hello.
Hi, Michael.
I apologize for any noise in the background. The jazz band is still rehearsing right now, but we'll get past that. But I hope that you all had a good winter break and you're enjoying the new year as we get back into the swing of things. But due to a snow day on the Friday before break, the winter pep rally was moved to the connections of last Thursday. Each grade came in early to help decorate their sections of the gym and played several games, including basketball, tug of war, and student versus teacher dodgeball. While it was a close game, the teachers ended up coming out on top, but everyone had a very good time. And this Saturday, the robotics team is hosting a competition at the school where teams from a variety of schools will come with their robots of their own design and compete against one another. Bolton's robotics team has been hard at work to finish and test their robot, and we wish them the best of luck in their competition.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Michael. Erin?
Okay. Yesterday, Cookies and Cram was held during Connections, and the National Honor Society members volunteered to help the freshmen study in all the topics that they are taking for midterms. And the freshmen did find it very useful. And next week, from the 17th to the 20th, midterms will be held, and the first exam for each day will be at 9:40 to 11:40 in the morning, and the second exam is from 12:15 to 2:15 in the afternoon.
Thank you both very much. I know you have jazz band and studying to get to, so thanks, guys, very much.
Thank you. We're on to community meeting reports. Do we have any of those? All right, moving along swiftly. I'll turn things over now to the superintendent for the superintendent of schools reports.
All right, so we're going to start this evening with a music update. So I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Dan Ayer, our K-12 academic leader for music and band. Mr. Ayer.
Thank you so much. Give me just a moment to pull up my presentation. All right. So I wanted to start out just by highlighting what we're about in our music department. And you may recognize some of this language from our district mission statement, but I felt like it really applies to music as well. And I wanted to point out how singing or learning to play an instrument and playing in an ensemble like the band or the chorus is very demanding, because a student has to learn to read music notation. They have to develop eye, hand, and mind coordination, develop listening skills, develop team skills for playing in an ensemble, and develop the discipline to practice. And all of those learning experiences and more play a role in enhancing the learner's cognitive capabilities, executive functions, motivation to learn in school, and self-efficacy. And I also wanted to point out just the sense of community that is integral to our music program. And I think that the video that you saw earlier really brought that home. I wanted to talk a little bit about what we're offering in slightly more detail than what you had in the video. So at Bolton Center School, we reach every single student in the building with the classes that we offer. And that includes pre-K to third grade general music. All the students receive that weekly. In grade 4, all of our students experience both band and chorus, which is kind of a unique setup that we have here in Bolton that we started several years ago. In grades 5 and 6, students all do band or chorus, so they specialize in one of those. And then in 7th and 8th grade, they have also the opportunity to do a music survey class, which is a non-performing class like I mentioned in the video earlier. At Bolton High School, we have music electives that right now are serving 34% of our population, which I feel like is a really good number coming out of all the pandemic restrictions. I think it's a great place to be. We expect growth in the coming years because we've got a lot of students who are rejoining band and choir now that all the restrictions have been lifted, and we're focusing on what we can offer to the rest of the population as well, so that we can reach more students who aren't necessarily interested in those traditional ensembles. But right now we've got concert band, concert choir, percussion ensemble as some of our performing classes. We also have guitar performance that's open to students regardless of any previous background with the guitar, as well as music technology levels 1 and 2, also open to any student who wants to take the class. We have AP Music Theory for those students who want to go a little bit farther beyond with their music learning. We have a jazz band, and this coming semester, I'm really excited to be piloting a modern band course. This is an alternative to traditional ensembles where it's open to all students regardless of experience, and it's more like a rock band instrumentation. So they learn to play the guitar, the piano, drum set, vocals. They learn about music technology in the performance venue, and we're able to pilot this with the supplies and materials and technology that we currently have. So I'm really excited to get that up and running and bring in more students that we haven't been reaching. And if it's successful, then that's something that I'll be bringing some curriculum to you next year for you to have a look at. We are so thrilled to be presenting our concerts live and in person again this year. And you saw some clips in the video earlier. We're right now following a similar format to what we did prior to the pandemic, where we've got large ensemble concerts for grades 4 through 12. And we also do some small ensemble and solo events for grades 6 through 12. We're starting a new concert this year for grades 3 and 4 at the end of the school year that Mary Dombrovskis is putting together. We also are celebrating 4 students who were accepted to the Eastern Region High School Festival. They just performed at UConn last weekend. And we had 10 middle school students accepted to the Eastern Region Middle School Festival. So we're really excited to be offering those experiences in person again. We have our Virginia Beach trip for the high school band and choir in April. And that's, a performance experience with a lot of other fun thrown in as an overnight trip. And we're going to be doing a Six Flags Music in the Parks experience for 7th and 8th grade. And then there was the Coast Guard field trip that was mentioned in the video also that 4th grade did. So we've got a lot of great things going that we're trying to provide to the students. The other thing I wanted to talk about this evening is our instrument replacement cycle that we have updated for you this year. So I'll start with Bolton Center School. We, in this school year, requested a new bass clarinet because we're growing our program and we've had more students interested in playing that instrument. We didn't have an instrument to provide. Thank you for already taking care of that for us and ordering that. We really appreciate that. For the upcoming school year or budget year 2024 to 2025, we are looking to purchase a couple of new flutes, and those would be really to supplement what we're offering for the younger students who, now that we're offering bands to all the students in the 4th grade, we do have more of a need for instruments for those students. We have a lot more families who are needing to use a school instrument rather than rent an instrument. And we just have more students involved in the program. So we will be looking for that. And then in the subsequent year, a new tenor saxophone. Again, it's an instrument that students don't typically rent. They typically use a school instrument, and we just don't have currently that instrument to supply what we need for the program. So that's what we're looking at the next couple of years at the center school. And then at the high school, for this year, we didn't ask for anything in our budget request. It is a transitional year. We have a new.
Dan, can I just say for 1 second, when he means
Sure.
this year, he means the budget that they've put in for next year.
Thank you so much, Superintendent Heck, for clarifying that. Yep. So for next budget year, I'll rephrase that. We didn't ask for anything. We did get some grant funds that Monica helped us acquire for some new music technology. And so we have a fully outfitted music tech lab with new equipment, and we're really grateful for that. For the year after that, the 2024 to 25 budget year, we are going to be looking to replace a tenor saxophone at the high school, and you can see the price for that. We currently have 2 tenor saxophones at the high school. Both of them are in need of major overhaul repairs, and it's just not really cost effective in our view to do that. It would make more sense to purchase a new instrument rather than just keep investing in the repairs for these other ones. So that's something we're going to be looking at in the future. And then beyond that, we really need to see what happens with our enrollments before we can give you an estimate of what we've been looking for in the 2025 to 26 budget year. So that's what I have as far as the instrument replacement cycle. And do any of you have any questions for me?
I would just like to compliment Dan with Katie's departure. Dan stepped right in and has been a wonderful leader for our music department at a time when we were sort of at this precipice of what's going to happen, because as we come out of the pandemic and begin to have music return to some sense of normalcy, and with having a new teacher at the high school in Tyler, they have done an amazing job, and that is under Dan's leadership, and a credit to him and to our entire department. They have been nothing short of amazing. So great job.
Thank you.
All right, hearing no questions, thank you so much. You're free to continue to join us for the evening, but if you have other things, I get that. So thank you. Now I'd like to turn it over to our Director of Teaching and Learning, Monica Giglio Casper, who is going to share our technology replacement cycle with you. Monica.
Good evening, everyone. I hope you all had a nice start to the new year. Joe, do we have that slide with the replacement cycle? Or do you want me to show my screen?
It's there.
Okay, awesome. So like a lot of school districts in Connecticut and across the country, during the pandemic time, we were very lucky to receive an influx of technology. The trick was that it kind of happened all at once.
Excuse me, Joe, could you put it on the right slide, please, and make it a full slide?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry. So then what we were sort of challenged with was, how do we create a replacement cycle? Because we're not in a situation, no one wants to be in the situation where you're replacing everything at the same time. So I'm sorry, I don't see the slide. Awesome. Thank you. I have a small version in front of me, but that's not going to help you. So this year, I'm going to actually start with the high school and work my way up to the top of the chart that you see, because it's just going to be relatively simple. One of the things that we do have to keep in mind is that support contracts, as we're going out to bid currently for fiscal year 24, are generally designed for 4-year support contracts. I've been able to push a couple of those into 5 years, and we are looking at a 5-year replacement cycle, which is the current plan. So it's not only support contracts, but also Google ensuring that all of the apps are supported with the technology and the hardware that we have. To that end, all 9th grade students are issued a new Chromebook, and that is expected to last them until 12th grade. They do turn it in, we clean them up, and we redeploy to those students. That same procedure happens for 4th grade students, which currently is the grade where students do have devices going home, but I have been speaking with Principal Giard and Assistant Principal Fezich about the possibility that the teachers would like to have those in-house, and the students don't, because we don't have remote learning, don't have to have them going back and forth quite as frequently. So that device is expected to last for a 5-year period of time currently, from grade 4 until grade 8. What you will see in the chart at the top is the rotation on 5-year rotation for grades K to 3. They utilize touch screen devices, which the other grade levels do not, because they do some additional tracing. They do some activities on there where they might be using their finger or a stylus to engage with the technology. This year, we did not have a replacement from K through 3. And beginning with 23-24, so fiscal year 24, and moving forward, we are going to see 3 grade levels replaced. So this is sort of a horizontal rotation in the primary grades. So 4th grade for 5 years, 9th grade for 4 years, and then next year that will include 1st grade. They will retain that device for a period of 5 years. Next year, it will be 2nd grade, 3rd grade, and so on. Where you see the double asterisks, that is where we are looking at devices for possible redeployment, for use for our technicians currently use some devices that may not be suitable for classroom use. Maybe they don't hold a charge. Maybe they can't connect to the internet. We use those for screen replacements. Sometimes we are able to use them for key replacements. So they are available to us for parts, and our technicians are able to keep our technology going at that time. So this projects out to fiscal year 30. I know from looking at previous documents that the plan was to work on a 5-year replacement cycle. So we have maintained that here. And the only possible change is that I might like to take a look at doing a K through 4 and doing a deployment in 5th grade, but that would not change this cycle dramatically. So I think the expectation is to sort of prepare you that we would have a 3 grade level replacement this year and moving forward.
So
Any
by this
questions?
year, she means this coming budget
I'm sorry.
year.
Yes, I'm sorry. Same thing as Dan did. 23, 24. So 23, 24 moving forward.
Looks like Chris has a question.
Yes. I can't see everyone.
Yeah, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you.
I'm a little bit confused as to how to read the chart here. Is it
Go
'cause it
across.
looks like
Yep.
So when you look at kindergarten this year, that's year 2 of the Chromebooks that stay in the kindergarten classrooms.
Yes, they don't go
Next
home.
year, it'll be year 3 of those.
okay, so
that we bought.
so that means, does that mean that the students who will be in first grade in 23, 24 will have a new Chromebook in first grade, a new Chromebook in second grade, a new Chromebook in third grade?
It will most likely work out that way for them. They stay in the classroom, so the teachers will have that for 5 years. They do not, those devices are not assigned to students.
I see.
Yeah.
Okay, because they stay in the classroom, you don't.
Correct.
have to- okay.
Right. They're
Is there
a little
any
young.
concern though that you're going to have a group of kids who are, each year they are going to have the most modern, up-to-date version of the computer and the software, and then you're going to have one class that's going to have, for however many consecutive years, 5-year-old computers, and
So
I mean,
that's
is there
something
an
that we're
equity issue?
looking at.
Yeah.
That was to Monica's point before, right? We want to maybe take another look at this. Potentially with in conjunction maybe with Novus moving forward. But this is what we need for next year in order to, be where we need to be. And then we need a relook. Another thing for the board to be aware of, and that was a very fair question, Chris, and that's why we want to take a look at it further with Novus, but we're not in a position to be able to do that yet.
Correct.
Okay, is that previously we were replacing 2 grade levels because we were able to use grant monies from COVID relief funds for the other grade level. In this year's budget, you will see 3 grade levels of replacement. So that's just a heads up to everybody. When you see that price tag, you'll already know why that is. Okay,
Thank you.
any other questions? Did that answer you, Chris, for you?
Yeah, I'm glad you're continuing to look at it, and I think it is a concern.
Agreed.
Yes.
All right, hearing none, we are going to move on to the next generation accountability report, which is still Monica. So I'm going to let her
I'm
keep going.
still here. So I am going to Joe, if you want, I can drive. All right. Okay. Well, you haven't seen this in a couple of years. The Next Generation Accountability Report was released for 21-22. The last time the state released the Next Gen report was 18-19. So we're just going to go through some of the basics for anyone who may have forgotten what is addressed in the Next Generation Accountability Report and what those elements are. So this is a broad set of indicators that try to give a very holistic review, holistic overview of how a school is performing in a variety of areas. So it is a multi-factor perspective of performance. And again, Connecticut did not issue any summative ratings for 1920 and 21-22. So we are working with the 18-19 data set before this. So this truly is a baseline year. I know we've said that about other things and other test score indicators, but it really is sort of the new baseline. So the purpose of it is to track progress, to help our district make improvements, show where we need some support and where we may have to make some changes, look at where we're succeeding and doing well, make sure that it's transparent for all stakeholders and obviously federal and state requirements. I think the most important thing I like about the Next Generation Accountability System is that it guards against the narrowing of the curriculum to the tested subjects. So to that second point, it does not look only at test scores. It looks at student access to different courses. It looks at how different subsets of your students are performing. It looks at the overall school performance. It looks at attendance, and it helps us demonstrate progress on the outcome precursors. Like, is our work resulting in the outcomes that we're looking for? And this is sort of that state language. This is just, it's informational. It's for us to take, that big picture view of our schools and how we are performing overall. The 12 indicators, there is, of course, an achievement aspect to that. The assessment participation rate, chronic absenteeism, post-secondary preparation, that has changed, post-secondary readiness, they've changed some requirements. On track to graduation, the 4-year adjusted cohort and 6-year, this has changed. We don't have figures for this, no one does, because of the 2 years where things were not reported, post-secondary entrance rate, physical fitness, and arts access. The accountability index gives us a total number of possible points, and performance is subject specific. This is Bolton's current report with 73.2% of our points earned. And this gives us information for ELA, math, science. You will see some blank areas. That is because we do not have a statistically significant number of students. And to report those numbers would be to put some of our students in a position where they would be identifiable. I'll give you a second with that. So currently, based on our 21-22 report, these are some of our priorities and focus areas. We want to strengthen and streamline the SRBI process. Again, I know that Principal Giard and Assistant Principal Fezich have been working very hard on really shoring up their SRBI for intervention at BCS K-5 and continue to provide teachers with relevant PD to support student learning. We have a focus on teacher clarity across the district this year so that we are all using common language and supporting student learning goals. And we will continue to ensure that students are learning in a safe and supportive environment and encourage development of transferable skills. For chronic absenteeism, both schools have been working incredibly hard at making sure that they are maintaining family home communication. There are calls, there are occasional home visits as needed. We know that families have clear expectations regarding regular attendance and how important that is. And we are maintaining our responsibility when students have a certain number of unexcused absence or an excessive number of absences, either excused or unexcused, to have attendance letters and meetings. We do still have some quarantine requirements in place for COVID, and so that is a bit unpredictable. So I would say chronic absenteeism, the definition of that is missing 10% or more of the total number of school days. If you are quarantined for 5 days in the first month of school, you have already reached the chronic absenteeism threshold. And yet the directions that we were all given by the health department were, your child has symptoms, you're keeping them home for 5 days. So it was a little bit of a conundrum, but we were trying to make sure that we were in compliance with the health department requirements and CDC, anything that was coming through the CDC. And last year, if you recall, at the beginning of the school year in 21-22, we were still on 10-day quarantines. They did not lessen that to 5 days until about midway through the school year. So we are anxious to see, because the guidance still is, if you are sick, you should stay home for 5 days, or at least 5 days from the onset of your symptoms. Physical fitness, we have been focusing in this area. Data collection for this year is occurring at the individual student level for the first time. Previously, it had been reported as a class, and this will help teachers target certain specific students based on what their needs are. And we have met with PE teachers to look at classroom level needs, what we need to help set goals for students to make sure that they are always working on their physical health, cardiovascular fitness, flexibility, and strength, and examining our curriculum to ensure focus on lifelong fitness and healthy living. And we are going to take a look at the way we do collect some of our data. For example, in our arts access section, the state has recently created an AV cluster so that some of our courses can be counted both as fulfilling the arts access piece and the career and technical education, because there are some courses that sort of straddle that line. So desktop publishing, graphic design, those would be a couple of excellent examples that certainly are artistic, and the state has put into a cluster so that they can sort of count for arts and for a career and technical education piece. And our on track for graduation percentages, that was changed. The on track for graduation figure is arrived at looking at how many credits ninth grade students have when they finish ninth grade. And that went from 5 credits to 6 credits. And for us, what that means is making sure that students who come from out of district, because our Bolton students are on track, on the trajectory where we place them. But students who may come from another district may need additional encouragement. They may need to look at their course load a little bit more carefully, depending on what the requirements were in the school that they came from. And we also have to make sure that we are tracking student electives if they are in a magnet school as well. So if they are in a magnet school program that takes them from our school for half a day, we just need to make sure that we are collecting that data to ensure that we are using that elective credits, those elective credits in our favor. Are there any questions about the Next Generation Accountability Report?
I'd like to thank Monica. She has dug in deep to the data and has come up with some, interesting pieces that we didn't know of before. And we're hopeful that that's certainly going to help us moving forward. So this is sort of like our reset, and I will bring this to you again next year. Thank you, Monica, very much.
Thank you.
Monica's going to stay with us, however,
So
because
odd.
now we have a strategic plan update, or mid-year update. Thank you.
Okay. Our presentation this evening begins with revisiting the district goals that guide our ongoing work with the strategic plan. This year, we not only continue with this work, but renew the focus on aligning our efforts across the district to ensure that all students achieve the qualities and skills that are embodied in the Bolton Public Schools portrait of a graduate. At this time, Principal Giard and Principal Maselli will be presenting the progress of each school toward the goals of student success, caring culture, and talent development. And Superintendent Hecht and I will review our efforts and address the points presented regarding the final goal of resource stewardship.
So Mr. Maselli, I think it's going to go right to you with that next slide.
Earlier this year, Mr. Giard and I each took some time and we presented to the board the things that we were working on this year. So And this is just a quick reminder of the focus areas that we are addressing to support the strategic plan with the goals that you just saw. So you can see there's some parallels between what we're doing, but we each building kind of made the areas to support, the focus areas to support, very specific to our buildings. So that's just kind of a reminder of what we've talked about. But we can take a look at the actual goals. So this first goal, the student success goal, and in terms of things that are happening between the two buildings, one of the most important things is opportunities, right? So whether it be leadership opportunities or co-curricular opportunities or academic or opportunities to support students, that is, if you look through all of our action plans, there's a lot going on with supporting. Ongoing professional learning, each building has got a model in place that assures some professional learning opportunities almost weekly for all of our certified staff. We still have to continue to reflect on the pandemic and target certain behaviors. So when we talk about expected behaviors, we don't just mean being polite and walking in line and those kinds of social behaviors, but we also mean academic behaviors. So both staffs have put a lot of efforts into really emphasizing those expected behaviors with all of our students, pre-K through 12. And then all the work that we do to try to improve instruction. You've heard about the clarity work, again, the work that we do weekly, and a real emphasis on collaborating between the middle school and high school in a real formal way, creating opportunities for those staffs to work together.
Thank you, Mr. Maselli. I'm losing my voice as well, Chair Broniel. I'm just coming back. So goal number 2 is caring culture, which, as Mr. Maselli said, as we're working our way through the pandemic, has been of the utmost importance. It was a big part of developing our school plans, to getting students and staff comfortable with being back in school, and for parents to kind of return to the role that they had before the pandemic. It definitely put a stress on families with the amount of support they were giving. The first one there, welcoming families back into the building, that's been huge this year. And Mr. Ayer alluded to it earlier with the concerts. We've had open houses at the beginning of the year. We have parent-teacher conferences coming up in March, student-led conferences. So we've had many opportunities. We're having visitors back in the building. Parents have read to students in classrooms with read-alouds. We've had celebrations where parents have come in and done arts and crafts with the students. So it's been very, very nice to have all of those people back into the building. School culture, PBIS, both schools still have a very strong PBIS committee, which really meets regularly to look at not only student events and assemblies, but to talk about positive, uplifting events for the staff. So we're always looking at building that positive culture for everybody involved in the school community. Community outreach, Mr. Maselli and I were just talking, and he recently had a couple of events that brought some senior citizens into the building, which is awesome. We have an amazing family night, little plug here, January 26th. If you want to stop by the center school, a family winter fun night. We're going to have themed games, math games, literacy games in both the gym and the cafeteria, so parents can make their way throughout the building. Super excited, and I'd say almost every staff member has volunteered to be there as like an extra evening event. So that's community outreach, faculty and family outreach. Parent Square is new to the district this year. The high school has fully taken it on board to pilot. We have a couple of grades at the center school, 3rd and 8th grade, and some of the sports coaches have also taken on Parent Square, which is another way to communicate with families. It has many features, and we're excited to have that. And digital outreach, the center school is finally catching up to the high school, and we have our social media pages. So we have some staff who have put out some posts on Facebook and different platforms, which is important because not everybody goes to the website. Some people just check their social media, so it's nice to have those quick tidbits of information and little highlights. So that's been a nice addition this year as well.
So the third goal from the district strategic plan is about talent development. And so one of the things that we've worked very hard on, including during the pandemic when it was really hard to do, is including both teachers and students in the hiring process. We found that super successful. We are providing official mentors to new teachers, but we're also setting up partners. For example, a partner in a different discipline who may have been here for a while, who can help that teacher navigate the new environment. We have a lot of new staff in both buildings, so those programs have been absolutely excellent for our new staff. Again, that ongoing professional learning, and as Daryl referred to, when we talk about the positive behavior stuff, the PBIS, it's really not just for students. There's a lot going on in both buildings to provide a real positive culture for our staff as well.
Okay, for goal 4, resource stewardship, I am going to start and then turn it over to Superintendent Hecht. I might skip a little bit. So we certainly want to maintain our one-to-one devices and our support for students. We are ensuring that we have support contracts. We are instituting a very competitive process currently to make sure that we can do that in a fiscally responsible way for the district, and that our contracts can support anything that students need as far as if something needs a repair or something needs to go out, that they do not want for any device or any piece of technology that they need in their classroom. We have also updated technology for teachers. There's new business lab set of computers, the music technology lab, and teachers have new desktop computers. So anything currently that we are able to provide, the ViewSonics are currently up to date, which are interactive flat panels in each classroom. And I have just watched those. Everyone is incredibly lucky for having such an incredible piece of technology in every classroom. It is very, very impressive. It's one of the things that I find really incredible here in Bolton. Is the fact that and I think the parents said that in the music video as well, that we are providing for our teachers. And if they make a request of something that may not be standard, then we will still try to make sure that they have what they need. And that is where Title IV grant comes in a little bit. That is our grant for innovation. We are able to make some purchases to support our STEAM programming, career and technical education, and the arts as well. And also being, as extremely responsible regarding Title IV and the other consolidated grants to make sure that they are supporting our initiatives and the outcomes that we're looking for.
Thank you. So as you know, we applied for the HVAC grant. The word on the street is that maybe we'll hear something the middle of February. We'll see. That's great if that happens by the middle of February. I did have a community member who works in a different district in terms of sort of like outreach programs, share with me a grant opportunity today. It is not something that the school system would apply for. It's something that the town would apply for, to create a commission and do a lot of good things for kids ages 12 to 17 as a community. I did forward that information along to both the first selectman and the town administrative officer today. And going to have a follow-up phone call with the person that reached out to me on Tuesday about some other things, and hopefully get her connected with both Pam and Jim. And then the last piece is, as you're well aware, we do zero-based budgeting. We start from zero and we build it from there for our budget. We are in that process now, and we're just in the throngs of it. And hopefully I have the budget to you so that you have 2 weekends to review it. I'm just going to let you know, I'm not sure that's happening. You might only get 1 weekend to review it, and I will let you know as we get closer how that's working out. And that's just based on what's happening with our staffing in central office right now and people being ill. Any questions regarding the strategic plan update for anybody? All right, hearing none. Thank you all very much. Great job. Keep up the good work.
All right, thank you. Thank you. There's a lot of information, good information. Thank you. Unfinished business and policies. We have a large list of policies. Do we want to vote on them as one block? I know in the past we've voted on changes, and the new policies, those are all sort of changed policies. So I think there's like 14 of them or something.
Maybe it would be a good idea to your point, to make the motion to approve all the policies, get a second, and then have any discussion about any of them that anybody needs to have. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Right, I'll make a motion to approve. Do you want me to read the names of the policies, Kristen, or could I just refer to the policies as listed in the minutes? Or
How
in
about
the
that?
agenda?
That's good. Yeah, that's good.
So, yeah, so we have 23 policies listed in the agenda. I move to approve all 23 of them.
I'll second.
Thank you both.
Thank you, Chris and Ben. I was way off. I don't know where I got 14 from. I'm all
Chris and
messed up.
Scott.
Oh, Scott, I'm sorry. I can't even hear. I'm so screwed up. Do we have any questions or comments or anything on any of these 23 policies that we will be voting on? All right. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Is there anyone who is opposed or abstaining? All right. We have a large number of revised policies. On to the CREC representative, which was an issue that was raised last month by Chris, who was our CREC representative, and they apparently still thought was our CREC representative. And as of right now, we still have no CREC representative, and I am wondering, is there anyone who is willing, who's interested, I guess, is the first question. And the second question is willing to become our CREC representative. I know Sue was not here tonight, and I didn't get a chance to ask her. I was wondering if in her retirement she was looking for an additional hobby of going to CREC meetings, but is there anyone present tonight who is willing to do this?
I'd be happy to describe a little bit about what the time commitment's like, since I did do it for a couple of years. CREC meets monthly on Wednesdays at noon or 11:30 maybe. They meet in Hartford, and I believe they're also currently meeting via Zoom, so you don't actually have to drive into Hartford if you don't want to, but if you do, their meetings usually end with a catered lunch. But the timing certainly can be an issue for some people, maybe many people. Meetings typically last an hour to an hour and a half, and there's really not too much work other than attending the meetings, unless you wish to get more involved. There are some committees that you can join if you're interested, but I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone might have more specific than that.
Everybody jump in at once here. I'm wondering if we can do this as a group rather than having one person, or if there's somebody who's willing to go to a meeting or two. I'm just looking for any volunteers at the time. Or we can.
So I wonder maybe to
What
reach
day-
out to, sorry, Rhea, go ahead.
What day, what week, Chris?
Oh, I believe it's usually I want to say the third Wednesday of the month. It's usually when the meeting is.
Okay. Third Wednesday. Oh, maybe Sue and I could, let me talk to Sue and see if she would like to share it with me. I'm just very busy in town with many commissions and organizations. So, but I would, since we should have somebody, if I could share it with her, I would maybe consider it. So let me contact her if that's okay.
Okay. So maybe we'll revisit this in February or discuss it.
Yeah, so it won't be until March, if you recall, Chair O'Neill. Sue's not going to be with us in February either.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Well, we'll try to have that conversation before then anyway. And see.
Yeah, so Rhea, if you want to reach out to her, I think she'll be back in another 10 days or so. All right, and I'll try to remember to reach out to her too.
Yeah, I'll text her and email her and find her somehow. Thank
Okay,
you.
no problem. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you. We'll try to figure this out and get somebody over there.
Chris, could you forward to me the last email that was sent to you regarding that so that I can reach out to them?
Yeah, if I still have it, I may have deleted it. But
Okay.
I
If
keep
you get
getting
another
them,
one?
so if I get another one, I'll send it to you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Okay. So no resolution, but some hope for the future. Do we have any new business? Oh, do we have any resignations?
We do, unfortunately, yes. We received a resignation from BCS paraprofessional Jenna Bernard and cafeteria worker Evelyn Manzi. I want to thank them for their service to the Bolton Public Schools, and I wish them well.
Do we have any future business?
No,
All
unless someone else
right.
does.
Now looking for a motion to go into executive session for a review of attorney-client privilege communication of the non-renewal process and to invite the superintendent.
So moved.
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed or abstaining? All right. Thank you, everyone.